Thank you all so much. Appreciate your generosity. Oh, Jeff, don't go too far. I'd like to invite Jeff Koltrak, Associate Vice President, Development of Cal State University Dominguez Hills, to come up. He is going to be introducing our keynote speakers. And Jeff, I'll leave it to you.
Thank you. Good morning. Dr. Ellen Judd is Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs at California State University Dominguez Hills. As the Chief Academic Officer, she provides leadership in creating and implementing the university's academic goals, its educational policy, curriculum planning and development, and academic program review. In short, she ensures the academic integrity of CSU Dominguez Hills through oversight of the 68 degree programs, 46 which are undergraduate, 22 graduate, that are offered to the university's 15,000 students. Dr. Judd oversees a division that includes 860 faculty and over 200 staff and administrators. And as such, she is responsible for funding and resource allocation within academic affairs, as well as personnel actions pertaining to faculty and academic staff. Dr. Judd has 30 years of experience in higher education, 28 within the CSU system. She graduated cum laude from the University of Michigan with high honors in psychology and earned a PhD and MA in cognitive and developmental psychology from Princeton University. Her research and publications include early childhood education and advocacy, college teaching effectiveness, faculty development, and educational equity and diversity issues. She completed Harvard University's Management Development Program in 1998. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to welcome to the stage Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs at California State University Dominguez Hills, Dr. Ellen Judd.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm going to take a stroll down here because the equipment here is going to have me work from the screen on this side. So please continue eating your lunch. And let's get started. So, good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure and an honor to be here with you today at your Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce event talking about the state of education in 2015. So, I wanted to share with you a little bit about the context in which higher ed works, and particularly insofar as where we're located, right? So, here we are in LA County. As you can see, LA County is the most populous county in the United States, and we have 9.8 million people inhabiting our county. And in addition, LA has 88 cities, if you didn't already know that. And then in addition, LA has 3.8 million. But this is the Torrance area Chamber of Commerce. So does anyone have a wild guess of how many live in Torrance? 230? It's actually 147. This is the data that I pulled just from the U.S. Census Bureau. All right, so this is the LA County. Since you are the Chamber of Commerce, I thought you'd be interested to see what the data is, and this comes from the California Employment Development Department. This was just done December of 2014. You can't read this, don't worry about it, because what this shows you is the list of the comparison of growing occupations, entry-level education by county. So these are too tiny for you to read, but basically what you can see were these little stars, these red stars. These are all stars indicating that if you have if you want to be, for example, if you're a health specialization, I can't even read it from here, health specialties, teachers, physical therapy, biochemists and biophysicists, physics teachers, orthotics and prosthetics, nursing instructors, statisticians, etc. What all of those have in common is that in order to have those jobs, you have to have advanced degrees, or at least a bachelor's or associate degrees, and often in the area of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right? So this is what shows us that in LA County, these are the growing occupations, many of which, most of which, center on STEM-related preparation at the secondary level, both community college as well as four-year institutions. So I also wanted to let you know, those of you who enjoy looking at data, this is a fascinating place. I recommend you go. It's called the www.clustermapping.us. This is a national study of all of the counties in America, 3,221 US counties, done by Harvard as well as MIT and Temple took part. It's interactive, so you can go there and compare the data from our county relative to others on economic variables. So to just give you a sense, for example, in LA, this is the prosperity index. It's increasing. We're ranked 40th out of 40% out of all of the counties, LA counties. This is the annual wage has increased from 1998 to 2012. And then, since we're talking about education, I thought you'd be interested to see that the total number of people who are receiving their high school diploma or more in LA County is, this is the US average, 86%, and for us in LA County, is it higher or lower? It is lower. So this tells us that our high school attainment is lower than what our national average is. So this is something we want to pay attention to and figure out how to help improve our students' success in being able to graduate from K through 12. So here's the next data. This is where in LA County, how many are getting some college or associate's degree. And in LA County, we're ranked 26 percentile or 25 percentile at 56%. And that's just almost similar to the US average. So that looks pretty good, at least in the same ballpark. And here, we're actually a little bit higher. So in LA County, for people who are over 25 years old, between the years of 2000 and 2012, we're ranked 12% in terms of our baccalaureate attainment rate in the LA compared to other counties. So that tells you a little bit about the overall picture. So now we can ask yourselves, since we're talking about education, how many colleges, two-year institutions, community colleges and other colleges, are in LA County, and how many universities do we have in LA County? So how many do you think we have in colleges? Anyone have a wild guess? 30? Very close, 43. Do we have more or fewer universities? Fewer, 25. So total, in our county alone, we have 68 colleges and universities. So that's a pretty high number. In fact, I think it's the highest number of all counties in the nation. So, but again, we have a very high population, as you've already seen. So what this tells us is that we now have the opportunity to share a little bit about what's happening at Dominguez Hills. And unfortunately, our president was unable to be here today, Dr. Willie J. Hager, and he is fantastic. If you came, I think, last year, I believe he spoke last year or the year before, and he has come to the campus. This is his third year now, and he's completely energizing the whole campus. And his new theme at his inauguration was America Happens Here. I'm not going to read this all to you, but I'll explain a little bit about why that slogan, America Happens Here, is so important to us on our campus. Dominguez Hills, as you may or may not know, is one of 23 CSUs in the state of California. The California State University system is the biggest, the largest system of its kind in the nation. And we have like 450,000 students across 23 different campuses. Our campus is a medium-sized institution. We were established actually in 1960, and even though we're called Cal State University Dominguez Hills today, when we were founded in 1960, our name, you see here, Cal State Palos Verdes. You may or may not realize that, but we broke ground in 1962 in a bank in Palos Verdes, and today we are now in Carson. Why are we in Carson? What does it say here? We relocated in 1965 after the Watts Rebellion in August 11 through 17, just 50 years ago. The then governor, Pat Brown, Jerry Brown's father, said, gosh, you know, there's so much happening. There's a neighborhood in crisis, a community in crisis. We need to put the next CSU nearby to be an institution of hope and transformation, a catalyst for change for the community. So we were moved to Carson. Now notice we're not called Cal State University Carson, we're called Cal State University Dominguez Hills. I guess anytime you put the word hills on the end of a city, it sounds like it's a fancy place for everybody else. So Dominguez, of course, is a very historic landowner in this area. And so we are located adjacent to the Dominguez, or in the Dominguez original property. So that happened in 1965. We have a pretty medium-sized campus. We have almost 15,000 students. 90,000 alumni have graduated in the 55 years that we've been in business. And we are what we call a minority-serving institution and a Hispanic-serving institution. So we have the largest percentage of minority students in the entire system. We have 87% of our students are students of color. 58% are Latina, Latino, 16, 17% are African American, 11% Asian, about 2 or 3% who are of mixed races. So we are a very, very strong, vibrant campus in terms of our breakdown of our students. We have the highest enrollment of African American students compared to any other public university, including the CSU and the UC. I think last year, not this year, last year we graduated over 434 African Americans, which might be the largest number for any college or university that's not a historically black college or university west of Mississippi. So we're very, very proud of the fact that we reach out and help students from all different regions in our sector. 65% of our students are female. 53, over half of our students are first generation. Neither parent ever attended or graduated from college. And almost 2/3, 63% of our students are economically challenged. That is, they're Pell eligible and they receive needs-based federal funding. So this gives you sort of a sense. And then here's a little bit of snapshot about our community. As you heard in LA USD, there are over 1 million students, 1.5 million. The school district actually enrolls about 655,000 students, K through 12. That was just last year. And here's the stats on the employment, teachers, and then a little bit of loss from this last year. And what's important to note is our students generally come from the service area of South Central and the South Bay area. And so 80% of our students who are regularly admitted require remediation either in English, mathematics, or both. So these are students who came from communities where there was not enough funding, so they didn't have as much support in order to finish their high school career. So that means that we are at the university are really, really focused on student success. And I'm brand new, as Willie just came here 3 years ago. I just came a year ago, so actually a year and 4 months. So about 16 months ago, I came in January of last year. And so we're now trying to really bring the campus into even more strength in terms of who we're going to serve and how we're going to help our students graduate and then become a major part of the workforce. So these are pictures of back in 1965. Here's some pictures today. So we are still a very diverse, very, very vibrant institution. And one of the things that the president has charged us to do is to formulate a comprehensive model of student success. So I'm not going to read you the details, but basically this says that we want to focus our efforts in a stepwise fashion, identifying supports that, for example, freshmen need versus second year, sophomores, third year, etc. And so we are developing a comprehensive program that addresses needs for students where they are in their college career. And so we're actively working to increase our graduation rate as part of this model. Now, so what have we done? Well, the cool thing is that just about a month ago, I was in Sacramento, and the governor's office announced that they had last year had offered $50 million for what they called California Innovation in Higher Education Awards. These awards were meant only for public institutions, the UC, the CSU, and the community college. And so there were like about 88 applications that went forward. And Cal State Dominguez Hills was one of the 14 that was selected. So we were named as a award winner for the Governor's Innovation Fund. And so just to give you a sense of some of the new and cool things that we are doing, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about all this, but I'll just give you a quick sampling. One thing is, as I said, you can see that what we want to do is to look at what's in our growth area and then make sure that we are providing the right kinds of resources to attract the students, to get them to have their degrees so they can get good jobs, right? So one thing that I have done is that I was hired last year. So I then turned around and said that we need to hire more faculty. And so we have 17 new hires that are coming in August, this fall. And 8 of those were designed to be STEM-related disciplines. So there are faculty in the sciences, some in business, and et cetera, where they are engaged in technology. mathematics, etc. So there are 8 faculty coming on as a cohort. They'll have a chance to work with each other as well and develop strong programs for students interested in STEM kinds of areas. In addition, we have a very, very successful EOP Bridge Encounter to Excellence program that was just focused originally on a small population. It's been expanded to over 700 of our freshmen, and we're building on that as well as recruiting new STEM majors starting this summer. That students are being funded through the Helmsley grant, and our Fuse grant is what it's called. And so that is simultaneously happening as we speak. And then we have plans for a new science and innovation building, so that's very exciting to think about building a new building with state-of-the-art laboratories and collaboration and innovation spaces for faculty and students to engage in. We have probably in the CSU one of the highest rates of students working in research or scholarly activity with our faculty, so that I think we had over 300 students present their work at last year's research conference on campus. Now, when you build the building and have the faculty, then you have to start thinking about, well, what's happening in the classroom? Now, raise your hand if you had a Chemistry 101 class in your college. All right, raise your hands if you had. I think most of us probably had to have chemistry, right? So now raise your hand if you thought that was the most exciting, enjoyable. Did you get an A plus, and you thought it was the most fabulous thing in your life? No, right? So it's no surprise that the way people teach sciences and the mathematics sometimes is not as engaging as you might hope, right? So what we're doing is, and many of the schools are now, K through 12, are now experimenting. In fact, if you listen to NPR this morning as I drove into work, they had a great story about how teachers are using hands-on activities, in this case with those, what are those Matchbox cars, right? That Mattel and others are producing to try and improve students' understanding, engagement, and excitement about math and science. So what we're doing on the campus is, by the same token, when you go and become a professor, when you get a PhD, do you learn how to teach students? No, as a student, as a doctoral student myself, we never learned anything about how to teach students. You get your degree highly specialized in your area of expertise. And then when you get your PhD, suddenly you're supposed to walk into a classroom and be able to teach. And we tend to teach the way we were taught, which is by lecture, right? So what we're doing is now helping our faculty engage in how to redesign the course so that it's going to be much more active, more problem-based, less lecture, more direct experience, hands-on experience in the classroom. And that also involves active learning classrooms. University of Minnesota is one of the strong proponents of ALCs, and I sent a team to go look at how they do that. We're now building 2 ALCs on our campus right now. Now, besides teaching, we could also expand. You heard that we have a number of degree programs, 68, but we could expand more degrees. So we are actively finishing the approval process for a new master's in cybersecurity. Some of these areas we have to expand because these areas never existed 50 years ago, right? There were no microcomputers, things were not on the web that much. So now what we're trying to do is find the cutting edges of the new disciplines to try and develop degrees that will help students and the field, that is the industry partners and companies. So that's where we're developing this master's in cybersecurity. This year we'll begin plans to develop a master's in systems engineering. My campus currently does not have any engineering programs, so this is a new venture where we're very excited to launch that. Now, partnerships are really important, and part of the reason I'm here today as well is I want your cards, because I would love to have more partnerships with industry and with corporations and entities here in Torrance. So we have already, these are just some examples of ones that we already are engaged in. We have the South Bay Promise program. This involves the Inglewood schools as well as the community college district. It's with SWIB. And STEM Advantage is another independent organization that does a fabulous job of selecting our students who then get mentored in the industry and are given financial aid, $5,000 a scholarship. And those students often go on and get permanent jobs in those companies as well. Run by Leanne Klein. And then Stanford University, we partnered with Stanford, and we're now involved in a grant coming from the Gates Foundation to help redesign statistics courses using online modules and so on. So those are some examples. We're going to continue to expand that. And then I said this was an innovation award that we won. So here are just a few of some of the innovations that we're entering into this past year and this year. One is we're using new kinds of software, in this case to improve our advising, how we advise students in analytical tools. We're implementing a new freshman dream course that the elite universities have these kinds of courses, but not often found at the state level, so we're doing that. We're also involved then with Stanford in designing your life. One is you start as a freshman in dreaming, and then as a junior or senior, now you take another course in designing your life after college, right? So that's another innovation that we'll be doing. We're also just got word that we got accepted to Stanford's College Transition Collaborative, and this one is where we're going to try and improve our student sense of belongingness and that their growth mindset is capable for them to improve. And then finally, another really cool another innovation is mobile fab labs. Has anyone heard of a fab lab? Most people haven't. Has anyone heard of a fab lab? One person, I see. No worries, I'm going to show you what it is in a moment. It's very cool. It's a concept in the making. We're very excited about this. Okay, so as I said, the reason why we're focusing in on some of these STEM things is, look, here's a map of LA, and this is a list of 23 major corporations ranging from Chevron, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, Aerospace Corporation, DirecTV, Mattel, Boeing, SpaceX, etc. There's many, many right within, even a 10, 12-mile radius of the campus. So here's all this industry sitting in our backyard, and what can Dominguez Hills do to make those connections so that our students get high-paying jobs with lots of potential? So this is one of the motivations, and this is why then I've created this new center called SICE, the Center for Innovation in STEM Education, and our director is sitting at the table. Kamal, would you stand up? Dr. Kamal Hamdan is our director. Matt Jones is our associate director, who's also a mathematician. So they're responsible for making sure that all of the different activities that we have related to STEM are all coordinated and housed under one umbrella. So this is very exciting. This was funded in part by the Annenberg Foundation, so Camden is serving as our, Annenberg Endowed Chair. So in many ways, we are a leader in STEM that most people don't realize that that's true. We've sort of been quiet about it, but the fact is our campus has graduated more math and science credentialed teachers than any other university in our 23 campus system. And Kamal and his colleagues in the College of Ed are responsible for bringing in probably over $40 million over the last 11 years to also train more of these teachers in the new pedagogies, new ways of teaching science and math so that kids get it and are enthused about it. So that's a little bit about our STEM. These are some examples of the work, again, that SICE is doing under Kamal and Matt's leadership to build in pathways for STEM activities, STEM teaching. And now I wanted to show you a little bit about the mobile fab labs. The mobile fab labs, or fab labs, or it's short for fabrication laboratories, comes out of MIT's original Center for Atoms and, I'm thinking of what the actual acronym escapes me, but the fabrication laboratories are this notion that you can have a concept, design the concept, so there's an element of some artistry involved, then computational analytics to actually create it through using computer science and other kinds of engineering principles. So here's an example of a mobile fab lab. Normally in the past, these fab labs, there's a whole international group of folks working on fab labs, are housed in a building. But ideally, if you can put them on a truck and make them mobile, the idea is you can drive them into the community and have students work with kids in the community and show them that it is cool and fun and rewarding to be an engineer, to be interested in how to build, create, manufacture these kinds of things. So here's some examples. Here's a fab lab that is in Baltimore. It's run now as a nonprofit community education center. It was originally started with MIT's assistance. Here's another example of a fab lab in Cleveland. This is at Cleveland State. And now we're contemplating so we're in the preliminary stages of trying to propose and build a number of mobile fab labs for us here at Dominguez Hills that will go out in the LA communities to really jazz students in the interest of science and engineering. And part of this, remember too, is because if you look at the engineering number of people in engineering, let me see here, in the United States, about the number of women and minorities in engineering is very small. It's less than 20%. So we want to increase the percentage of women and minorities in engineering and STEM fields. So this is one way to do it. So let me just play for you a quick little video and then we're done.
Our campus has a history of taking students who have all the intellectual capacity, all of the drive to accomplish, and who just need the chance to get additional help. And the Fab Lab provides that additional help in terms of learning to make things, learning the engineering concepts, learning the mathematical concepts that are going to make them more successful when they get to our classes, which are going to give them greater opportunities in the job market. When I first became aware of the Fab Labs and what they can do, I mean, it was real clear. Our campus needs to recognize we're part of an ecosystem, that we're part of the K through 12 environment, and we're part of the community college environment, and that the degree to which those students come better prepared, but also more intrigued, more excited about the science fields, then it makes it that much easier. The Fab Labs allow us to take things from the theoretical, put in the hands of the middle school students, the high school students, the tools to actually fabricate, to make things, in a sense, to bring the STEM fields to life. And what we're basically saying to these young men and women that you can make things at a higher, more scientific level than you ever thought you could. Some of these things that you make in Fab Lab, they are what I call precursors to engineering. They are a precursor to calculus. They are a precursor to all kinds of things that amaze and wow us now. And so the degree to which our students can work in this field is going to help everyone.
Officially welcome you to our campus, the campus of California State University, Dominguez Hills. I'm Dr. Hamden, and it gives me great pleasure today to welcome you to our very first STEM in Action event. All right, let the fun begin. There we go. This is where STEM happens. This is where STEM comes alive. It is our plan to have 4 to 5 mobile Fab Labs. The Fab Labs would allow us to meet a critical need that currently exists, and that's the need of bringing the community to our campus and our campus to the community to engage both in STEM activities. Many of these teachers did not have the training themselves. They did not have an engineering background. They did not have a background that enabled them to acquire that knowledge or the expertise. The mobile Fab Labs will allow us to also engage this population, the teachers themselves, to place them in a much better position to provide meaningful STEM experiences for their own students. Students always tell us, and so do our teachers, especially the recent college graduates, they know the subject matter very well. They know how to do math, they know how to do science, but some lack that knowledge. What do you do with the math and what do you do with the science? Which is the applied knowledge. The Fab Labs will allow us to bridge that gap.
We want Fab Labs!
So I just wanted to end with showing you one of our outstanding, we have so many talented students, and you'll meet and hear a little bit more about Kenneth by the end of the event today. But I hope that this gives you a glimpse into the new CSUDH and the kinds of exciting things that we're doing that's gathering both state knowledge and recognition. But I will just end with one other thing. Not too long ago, Ted Mitchell, who's the Undersecretary of Education at the federal level, appointed by President Obama, was recently having a conversation with President Obama, and he was asked, which 3 institutions of higher learning, which 3 campuses across the nation should we be watching as being really remarkable, doing remarkable things? And Ted Mitchell, I've never met him, he hasn't been to our campus yet, but he said, Hampton University, USC, and Cal State Dominguez Hills. So we are now at the federal level getting recognition for the very cool things that we're doing today. So I want to extend again a great thank you and much thank yous to the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce, and then also Donna Aaron, who couldn't be here today, but many thanks for inviting us. It was an honor to be here to talk with you. So thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Jen. Dr. Thomas M. Fallow was appointed the 5th Superintendent and President of El Camino Community College District on July 1st, 1995. He served as Vice President, Administrative Services at El Camino College for 4 years prior to that time, and has held various administrative positions in the Los Angeles and Glendale Community College districts. Dr. Fallow earned his bachelor's and master's degree at UCLA and his Doctor of Education at Pepperdine University. He is active in statewide community college leadership and serves various leadership roles in a number of organizations throughout the state. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to welcome to the stage El Camino College President, Dr. Thomas M. Fallow.
Thank you, folks. I was under the impression that we were going to have a panel up here and answer questions. So I didn't bring any movies, but I do remember the last slide up there. The pedigree of that young man was North High School, El Camino College, and Cal State Dominguez Hills, and I'm proud to be part of that chemistry. 20 years ago, I stood in front of this chamber, and we were upstairs then, and it was about the same number of people, and it was my first speech in the community. And I remember it distinctly because it was a really crowded room up there. The room was much smaller. And 2 people started talking about their experiences at El Camino College, and I never had to say another word, and they thought it was the greatest speech they ever heard. We are of and by the community since 1947. We just celebrated our 68th commencement ceremony 2 weeks ago. And I want to go back 4 years ago and tell you a story. On commencement day, everybody's happy. People are joyous and they're wonderfully, their accomplishments are at the forefront. And there was a woman crying. And they said, well, you're the president, you ought to take care of that. So I walked over and said, I guess I got to take care of that. I didn't know what she was going to say. Put her finger in my face and said, how come my daughter can get a 4.0 at El Camino College and can't get into UCLA? I said, ooh, this is not going to be good. I'm a Bruin, and I take that very seriously, and so I asked her, well, what was her major? Well, she said she wanted to get into film school. As you know, film at UCLA or any school is very difficult to get into, and it doesn't have anything to do with your grades, it has to do with your portfolio. So I explained that to the woman, and I said, well, let me take your name and maybe I can write them a letter. That would have been useless. In any event, there was a counselor, and her name is Sue Oda Amori, who then took care of the student and got her into that school with the horse, that white horse. I tease people about those schools and my school because I just want people to think about where they're going to school. So it's no offense to the school with the white horse. But she did get into the school with the white horse, got a $50,000 a year package for financial aid. Only $2,000 of that was for a loan. So she went through 4 years. She stayed on for 4 years at SC and got a degree in animation. She was back in my office 3 weeks ago talking, and I have to tell you, in the meantime, Mama came to see me a couple of times, but every time Mama came, she brought the younger son. I never got close to meeting their expectations that time. In any event, that's just one of the stories of the many stories that we have at El Camino College on commencement day. That's one of the 3 best days of the year. One of the other best days of the year is the first day of school. For 20 years, I've stood in the center of campus, and I have the same questions for everyone. Do you know where you're going? Do you need any help? Now, 10 years ago, it was pretty uncomfortable to stand there because people had hair where I can't grow, and it was multicolored. Their pants were uncomfortably low for me to even look at. They had piercings where I don't want to talk about. And they wouldn't look at you. They never made eye contact. And they always had something in their ears. And they just wouldn't respond. Huh? They'd take something out of their ears. Oh, no, I don't know where I'm going. I want to tell you about students nowadays. And I give great thanks to Torrance Unified School District and everybody else. But they're under tremendous pressure. And they know that they have to have an education plan. And they have to be prepared to go through a community college. El Camino distributes $45 million of financial aid a year to roughly spread across 25,000 students. So you'd figure that's about $1,800 a student. Well, that's not true. It's maybe $5,000 for many students. But what we advise every student, and that is that you have to know where you're going. What you do is you apply, you take a placement test, and then you select your courses, but most importantly, you see a counselor. Well, now that story I told you about Sue Odo Mori, everybody knew that next year that there was somebody that had been crying out on the lawn at commencement. And so I told the story about Sue. All of our faculty members went to her to see if they could get their children that opportunity. I will say this, that students have to be more responsible, but Ellen gave you an answer to a question I want to ask you. How many students do you think qualify for college-level reading, college-level writing, and college-level math when we test them? Now, we test a couple thousand students a year, and college-level reading is easy to test. College-level writing is grammar, punctuation, usage, and college-level math is actually college-level math. What percent test into college-level reading, do you think? 30. Folks, give them a little credit. But that's not, that may be in a different age. It's 45%. 45% into college level reading. So how do you teach college level sociology or psychology or whatever? How about college level writing? Folks, give them credit. 40%. So it's 45, 40. Then how much into college level math? 30. 10%. Now, I want to say something about Torrance. Their numbers bring the average up significantly. So what probability is that student going to have in getting through El Camino in 2 years? 0. Not with a degree. They're not going to make it through in 2 years, that's for sure. And we have the same problem that many community colleges have and many universities have, and that is the lack of preparation for students for college level activities. So it takes the student much longer to get through school, but they persevere, and you have stories like the story I told you about the girl that went to the White Horse School. We also have a wonderful foundation, and we're able not only to give away financial aid from the federal government, but we also provide $1.4 million a year in scholarships. And we could provide 10 times that, and the student need would be there. You don't know how students come to El Camino. We know we have a great transfer rate, and the highest transfer rate for any underlying district is from Torrance Unified School District. And as I said, they do better than they bring the average up significantly. But we also have students coming back to El Camino College, students that went on to 4-year schools and have a degree. Some of them have master's degrees. And what do you think they come back to do? To get a degree in some type of activity that they can get a job. I'm worried about education today because everybody focuses on getting a high-paying or well-paying job. I hope students learn how to learn because that's ongoing. So the biggest impact that we have in any one program is in our nursing program. If you get a nursing degree, you're probably going to get a job. It may not be at a little company, it may not be at Torrance, but you're going to get a job. And so the demand there is very high. But we also have technical fields where we have great opportunities for students to get degrees. So we get students coming from all ends, from above community colleges, below community colleges, and now we're partnering with many of the K-12 districts to provide information and opportunities not only in the STEM program, but for whatever we can cooperate with. So we are buying up for the community. But the most important part about being in the community is what you've done for El Camino College. And that is you, the community, have passed two major bonds now for El Camino College in 2002 and 2012. We haven't quite spent all of the $394 million of the first bond, and we haven't spent any of the $350 million for the second bond, but people stop me and always say, what are you doing there? We're just trying to keep up, folks. It's a renaissance of El Camino College. And the buildings are wonderful, staffing those are wonderful. During the two depressions, well, one was a major depression, that was in 2008, and the significant downturn in 2002, we were able to continue to hire faculty. I'll put our faculty up against any faculty. We have a wonderful faculty. They're well-trained. They are taught how to teach before they come onto campus or they don't get hired. I've been fortunate to be able to, in every one of those, I've hired over 330 faculty members. Some have retired in that time. And I'll put them up against anyone. They are very dedicated. So in order to teach composition, our faculty go back to school to teach reading so that they can teach the student how to read, critically think, and then translate that into writing, and that's for English composition. Getting through El Camino is not an easy task. People think, well, it's a community college, it's very easy. They get the same credit that anybody does that goes to a four-year school. So we always remind them that somebody that's sitting in a classroom at Stanford or Harvard is getting the same credit that you're getting when you take history, sociology, math. So it's a wonderful opportunity to save money. So what's the cost of El Camino? Do you know what it is per unit? You guys have been guessing wrong on everyone. Why don't you stop now? I think it's those two tables. I won't comment about it, but it's $46 per unit. So to get through El Camino for a year costs 46 times 30. Anybody got that one? $1,380. $1,380 to get through that. Times that to, anybody who knows? There's a developmental course for every one of you. But you have to be counseled to take it. It's the best bargain for undergraduate education anywhere. So people say, well, why do students go to El Camino? Well, some of them go for whatever reason. Some of them want to save money. Some of them want to stay close to a loved one. Some of them have, I can't see that. 2 minutes? You know, Stu Marcy, the second president of El Camino College, said that any college president should speak for an hour on anything. And if they knew something about it, they got 2 minutes. So I guess I'm getting yanked. In any event, I want to thank all of you for your support for El Camino. We reach deep into the community. We were talking at our table, and you were talking about STEM majors. We're forcing students to make decisions very early. I would love to see the time when we can go back to letting the student experiment through college, and that is try to find what they really want to do rather than making that early commitment and being forced to come back later and try to come to El Camino. Thank you all very much for your support and appreciate the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you, Dr. Fallow. Dr. George Bannon was appointed by the Torrance Unified School District Board of Education as Superintendent of Schools in 2005. Dr. Bannon comes to Torrance from the Glendora Unified School District, where he served as superintendent since July of 2000. Previously, he was the superintendent of the Tustin Unified School District in Orange County from 1996 to 2000, and superintendent of the Carlsbad Unified School District in San Diego County from 1993 to 1996. Dr. Bannon has worked in public education since 1973 when he was a social studies teacher at Charleston High School in West Virginia. He received a bachelor's degree in social studies from the University of Tennessee, and master's degrees in history from Marshall University in West Virginia, and a doctorate in education administration from Arizona State University. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to welcome to the stage Torrance Unified School District Superintendent, Dr. George Bannon.
Thank you, and I love how Tom goes through that he couldn't read the sign. I know him, he read the sign. When we're looking at our students, we're trying to maximize their student potential in student-centric classrooms. And we want to focus and have for some time on college and career readiness. Now, I appreciate Dr. Jun as the setup for me today, because if you paid attention to her presentation, she indicated about 76.63 graduation rate in Los Angeles County. Our latest graduation rate was 95.5%. So does that help those numbers? It certainly does, just as my colleague Dr. Fallow was indicating. Our students continue to be CSU and UC eligible. 68% of our students now pass AP exams, which is one of the highest grades around. For us, the Great Recession took a great hit on us. We reduced teachers, reduced administrators, reduced classified staff. Since the Great Recession, things are certainly better now. You guys all supported us during that time. Otherwise, we would have had even greater difficulty. But we've been able to, over the last year, reduce our K-5 class size to 27-1, which in 4-5 is the smallest it's ever been. And in 6-12 next year, the ratio will be 28-1, which will be the smallest in the history of the district. So we're certainly coming out of that. We had, for the very first year, and I'm going to say some nice things about Tom Fallow, and I'll tell you the reason why in a moment. Other than that, Tom, this is our very first year with a college and career program specialist at every one of our high schools. Now, what does that really mean to you? Well, it means for students that we now can provide every student with a 4-year plan. Whether that plan is to go on to El Camino, or a 4-year institution, or a private institution, or in fact go straight into the career world, they now have a plan. And they now have someone who is available to them and their parents to work through that plan. I'm excited. I think our community is excited that we now have added 3 more California Distinguished Schools, which are now called Gold Ribbon Schools, in Jefferson Middle School, Richardson, and West High School. And this is the part that I want to say a couple words about Tom Fallow. You know, Tom, in case you didn't know, is going to have a change of direction in not too long. Certainly, I've been here for 10 years and have had many interactions with Tom. We are going to miss him, quite frankly. Tom starts out conversations, with me at least, is, George, how can I help? And we've had many of those kinds of conversations, but one of the things that Tom didn't elaborate on, which quite frankly is a big deal, is that we've been working over a year with El Camino and the state of California. And in case you didn't know this, adult education has changed in direction from the state of California. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, before the Great Recession, we had about 25,000, we still do about 25,000 K-12 students. But we had another 17,000 people in our adult education program who were there to, in many instances, to learn English. And if you went through our folks and talked to our folks and the people in those programs as I have, you'll find that many of the people in our ELL program have college degrees from somewhere else. They're engineers, they're chemists, they're in other areas, but they can't get a job in the United States because of their English. So El Camino, Torrance Unified, 2 other smaller entities are now a consortium for adult education. And leadership with that program is with Tom and El Camino, and Tom and I had talked about that a long time ago. And I can tell you from a personal level, we will miss Tom. Thank you, Tom. The other area which, again, Tom didn't completely elaborate on, but which certainly plays a major role in this community. And that is the benefit of Project Lead the Way classes. We are tied directly to El Camino with Project Lead the Way. Project Lead the Way, if you don't know what that is a curriculum, a STEM curriculum. To remember, science, technology, engineering, math. I'm helping you with that the way Tom helped with math. And that program designed as a pathway for engineering and engineering careers. Well, we have included that in our curriculum, started at Torrance High Schools, moved on to 4 other schools, including 2 middle schools. But our students who are in STEM can currently receive credit through El Camino, which is a great benefit to our students, to us, and it's a real incentive, folks, for our students to be a member of and taking STEM classes. So again, it just shows you the collaboration and the pieces that kind of fit together in our community. And I know we all thank the Chamber for what they do and their support. And just a couple of key pieces how the Chamber works with TUSD is that we have students who actually go and work at Chamber offices. We have elementary students who participated in the Torrance Police Department Award Luncheon. We have the Chamber who assisted with North High School students' interviews and mock interviews that we do every year, and that's just coming up now. And of course, how about the Carr Elementary School kindergartners and what they did? So I want to thank the Chamber for all of their support. I want to thank all the businesses out there. In an interview I did not long ago, and this is a true story, several years ago, when John O'Connell was the state superintendent, he called me, and I knew John, or Jack is the way he's really known, and he said, George, you know, I just saw the numbers, and this couldn't be right, in that your attendance rate was about 99%, and that your graduation rate in that particular year, in arrears, was 98%. And I said, you know what, Jack? It is right. That's our community. That's what we're about, reflecting the community values. Thank you so much.
If I could have Dr. John, Dr. Fallow, and Dr. Mannon, we're going to do a quick photo, and thank you. Come up to the left. I love the word collaboration. Definitely that's what we need with the education community. It's great to see good work happening. All right, now let's move on. One of the great things we as the Torrance Area Chamber can do is we have a foundation. And with that, many of our members donate to that every year when they renew their dues. And we are going to give out some scholarships. So with that being said, I would like to first welcome the first Student Achievement and Excellence Award and ask North High School Assistant Principal Portia Rivera to come forward, please.
Hello. I'll send Dr. Richardson's regards. He's at the dentist. So you get me. This is Jason Liu, one of our 2 recipients from North High School. Clap for him. Jason is an outstanding student with a 4.4 weighted GPA. He's worked in Key Club, CSF, College and Career Club. He's decorated the floats. He's worked at the Madrona Marsh. He volunteers for local food banks. And in the fall, he will be attending UC San Diego. We're really proud of him. North does have another recipient who's not here today because she is with the delegation from North High at Kashiwa. So I will congratulate Dorothy Pakua.
I'll stand on that side so I'll put up and down those steps. Okay, now I'd like to ask for the next Student Achievement Excellence Award, West High Principal Pam Metz.
Our thanks to the Chamber, especially on behalf of these two wonderful students. I'm going to introduce Tracy Sam first. Tracy, they're both seniors, of course. Tracy will be attending UC Davis next year. She told me that she was kind of undecided, but is interested in arts, so she selected graphic design as a major, but I have a feeling 4 years from now we'll see what she's actually decided to do. And a lot of us went through college that way. Tracy has spent 4 years in the dance program. She's an advanced dancer this year. She's choreographed numbers and is one of the stars of that program. She's kind of a good all-around student and just one of our shining stars in our senior class. So Tracy, congratulations. Benton Shortridge will be going to Carnegie Mellon next year. He's going to study mechanical engineering. Benton is a 3-sport athlete, ASB president, and again, just kind of an all-around star on campus. He's very visible, he's very active as president of ASB, and probably more people recognize him than me on campus. It's a great senior class, and it was hard to pick 2 students to receive these scholarships, but we're very thankful.
For the next scholarship, we'd like to have South High Principal Scott McDowell.
Thank you. I'd also like to express our appreciation for inviting us to the luncheon and allowing us to recognize a couple of our great students. I have 2 to introduce to you today. The first is Anadi Umaran, and she has a 4.15 GPA. And while at South and also in her personal life, she fell in love with art. And she is going to attend Ringling School of Design in Florida and will pursue a career in animation. Congratulations. I'd also like to introduce to you Surbi Agrawal. And while at South, she has focused on mathematics, science, and programming. She has a 4.44 GPA and will be attending Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and will be majoring in mathematics. Congratulations. We have all of the schools have many great deserving students, and thanks again. It's our pleasure to be able to bring just a few of them here to be recognized, and thank you to all of you today.
Students, if you can, stick, or we will do a group photo at the end. All right, now I'd like to ask for our next award to have from Cal State University Dominguez Hills. I'd like to have David Gamboa, Government and Community Relations Director.
Hi, good afternoon. We are really proud to be recognizing one of our students. Kenneth Kim graduated from North High School. After attending the North High School, he went on to attend Al Community College for a short period of time as he wanted to gain more work experience. Kenneth decided to join the armed forces and served in the Army for 8 years. He then decided to further his education and re-enroll at Al Camino College and continued to work as a logistics manager until he earned his associate degree from Al Camino College with a 3.162. After graduating from Al Camino College, Kenneth transferred to CSU Dominguez Hills as a liberal studies major. During his time at Dominguez Hills, he joined the Math and Science Teaching Initiative we call MISTY. The goal of MISTY is to expand the capacity to recruit, prepare, and support and retain highly qualified middle school and high school teachers to work within the communities served by CSU Dominguez Hills, especially in the high-need secondary schools. Through MISTY, Kenneth was placed as a teacher assistant at a variety of partner schools such as Crenshaw High School, Diego Rivera Learning Center, and Century Academy in spring 2015. He also volunteered to participate in various MISTY activities such as the CSU Dominguez Hills STEM and Education Conference, STEM Zone, and also the STEM Lab Zone. Ken graduated from CSU Dominguez Hills in fall 2014, cum laude with a GPA of 3.42, and earned a Bachelor's of Arts degrees in Liberal Studies, options in mathematics. Since then, he joined the Project Research Program to gain more classroom experience at the high school level. Kenneth currently serves as a tutor at Compton High School. In the summer 2015, Kenneth will join the STEM Teachers in Advanced Residency Program, which we call STAR. STAR is a combined credential master's program in which Kenneth will become a secondary STEM teacher. Kenneth has made a commitment to teach in high-need schools in a minimum of 5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Kenneth Kim.
Good afternoon. In case you're wondering, I was that person in the picture. I'm incredibly honored and very delighted to be invited to this joyous occasion. First, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the leaders and sponsors of this event for bringing me here and selecting me as a recipient for this award. I feel humble because I know I'm not one of the best and the brightest young college students, but at the same time, I'm incredibly proud because I know I worked very hard to get to where I am now. Also, Dr. Hamden left, but I want to say my personal biggest thank you to him for recommending me for this recognition. I've taken a long detour to get to where I am. It started with my years in North High School. I came to the stage when I was 14 years old. And I did not speak, write, read, or understand any English at all for my first few years in America. So, and trying to adjust to a new environment was painfully difficult for me, especially when my ability to express my feelings, thoughts, and ideas in this classroom had been essentially taken away. And the only thing I could do was just simply smile at anything that was said to me. However, I was very fortunate to have some of the best ELL teachers who encouraged me daily and on the things that I could do well, such as math and sports, and while pushing me hard to improve my English. So, also North High was the place where I learned to find beauty and respect for diversity. So I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the dedicated work of those teachers and staff who made sure everyone in the school were treated with respect and fairly. So fast forward to now, I will officially begin my master's program called STAR, as he explained. And I'm very excited to see what awaits me and ready to put in the hard work to not only fulfill my dream of becoming a teacher, but a highly qualified and motivated one too. So I could hit the ground running from day one. So I am ready to take on that challenge, and I'm looking forward to that day to pass on my passion for learning to my future students. Again, this recognition means a lot to me, and whenever I had moments of doubt in the future, I'll think of this woman and to give myself a pat on the shoulder and to keep moving forward. So thank you for all your support and having confidence in my future. Thank you.
All of your award recipients, if you could come back real quick, and let's do a group photo. You're never too old to learn, ever. Right, Dr. Fallon? We all are. All right, you guys have been so great and patient. Thank you very, very much. This is always probably the highlight for me every year for the Chamber, because I love to see what the students are doing, where they're going, and I hope many of you will come back and let us know how your experience is going. All right, those centerpieces on the table, many of you have probably been eyeing them, and this is going to be a true testament to know who the old people in the room are. Our foundation was founded in 1982. So who was ever born closest to 1982? Many of us are out of the picture here. You get to take it. No, you don't. No, you're young at heart. All right. So again, let me extend. No line back there. I know some of you are kind of figured that out. You didn't know how old each other were. I'd like to thank City Cable for filming today's event. Thank you. Good to see you guys again. I'd like to thank the DoubleTree for the great lunch. Staff is always fabulous to work with. Very special thank you to Brandon, Matson, and Shatira. You guys are the best at the Chamber. We love working with you. Thank you for making this event possible. And the rest of you, thank you, our sponsors, our attendees. Go out and have a great day and don't ever stop learning. Thank you.